Hey everybody, this is Pamela coming at you with a video chat, vlog, whatever you want to call it. Sorry I haven't been online the last couple of days, but I've been kind of taking care of things around my house. But I'm hoping to get back online sometime after the 1st. I've got a lot of things going on, but I think I'll take some time this afternoon to tell you that old Rudy Giuliani's place got raided. Let's see here. Let's see what they're saying here about old Rudy. Go to Yahoo, and we will see here. Let's see. Yep, I heard the old FBI took a trip to Rudy's place. Let's see. Let me see here. I'm sure you guys heard about old Rudy getting his place raided, right? Let's see what they're saying here on NBC. Let's see. Rudy raid. Rudy Giuliani raid. It seemed like others were looking for it, so yeah. Let's see. Rudy Giuliani's neighbor becomes Twitter star after hilarious witness account. This was off the Huffington Post. And then they have late night hosts find the lighter side of Rudy Giuliani, FBI said on another in Yahoo. The Daily Beast says feds raid Giuliani's New York City apartment and Ukraine probe. And Trump has always something to say, saying that the AFP via Yahoo, saying that it's very, very unfair that Giuliani finally got raided. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Yes, it is fair because you broke the law. You asked the Ukraine to help your ass in winning the election. It didn't happen, and you lost. Deal with it, motherfucker. Let's see what else they're saying here. Let's see. This comes off of the BBC, but we won't use that. Let's see here. This was yesterday from Yahoo. I meant to talk about this yesterday, but I had a lot of things going on, as I've said, with the weekend coming up, celebrating my 50th birthday Saturday, but we'll talk about that in another stream later on this evening. So we'll get on with this news here. And yes, the FBI, the investigators raid former Trump lawyer home. The FBI carried out searches at the home and offices of Rudy Giuliani, who was Trump's personal lawyer. The raid is part of a probe into Mr. Giuliani's dealings with Ukraine. His lawyer said he denies breaking the law. Before the 2020 election, Mr. Giuliani led an effort to find incriminating information about Democratic candidate Joe Biden and son Hunter in the Ukraine. Biden won the election, and he and his son have denied any wrongdoing. Mr. Trump was impeached in 2019 over allegations he sought help from Ukraine to boost his chances of re-election. So yeah, they went after him, They went after his ass. And they said searches took place yesterday at the former New York City mayor's Upper East Side apartment as well as his Park Avenue office. So they searched his home and office, as we all know. The warrants included an allegation that Giuliani failed to register as a foreign agent. The Foreign Agents Registration Act requires people to notify the State Department if they are acting as a foreign agent on behalf of another nation. Mr. Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello, called the searches legal thuggery. Let me repeat that again. Mr. Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello, called the searches legal thuggery. This is totally unnecessary, he says, telling Fox News, adding that the search was conducted to make him look like some sort of criminal. Before I go on here to read, really? Really? Shut up, Mr. Costello. You know Giuliani played dirty. You know they talked about collusion. I know people on CNN had caught Giuliani in a lie. Let's see here. The lawyer adds that the raids stem from an alleged incident of failure to register as a foreign agent. Mr. Giuliani has previously called the investigation pure political prosecution or persecution. So they say that Mr. Giuliani played a central role in an effort to pressure the Ukraine to investigate Biden and son Hunter, who served on the board in a Ukrainian energy firm. He was also instrumental in the ousting of the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Witness to Mr. Trump's impeachment trial testified. Hunter Biden is facing an unrelated criminal tax probe from the U.S. Justice Department. Wednesday's search warrant does not imply criminality on the part of Giuliani, but it signals a ramping up of the case of the former mayor. Investigators have released few details about the case, and it remains unknown whether the Republican will face any charges. The search warrant was signed by a federal judge. Warrants against lawyers such as Mr. Giuliani require the authorization of senior Justice Department officials, the AP reported. Mr. Giuliani began representing the former president in April of 2018. And it says here, Citizen Trump was being investigated for his involvement with the Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. After Trump's election loss in November, Giuliani toured the country speaking to Republican state legislatures in an effort to get state lawmakers to overturn the result to favor Donald Trump. Pretty sad, isn't it? I hope that the FBI does their job and does it thoroughly. I hope that they nail his hind to the barn door, because if you're aiding and abetting help in overturning the election, then you should go to jail. Again, yesterday, former Mayor Giuliani, had the feds raid his house and office, and yet his lawyers are crying that it was legal thuggery. Kind of like the thuggery that Trump has been doing in office since day one. Bitch, please. You know, it makes me sad that neither of those guys, if you want to call them guys, neither of those babies can't accept the fact that Trump lost the election and that they're going to look into whether there was interference in the 2016 election. And I certainly believe there was, because she was ahead when she went to bed that night. And then, let's see, she went to bed that night thinking that she had clinched the election and woke up to the biggest political con in U.S. history. And a lot of people, not just here in the United States, have been trumped by this man, but people overseas have been trumped by this man. And you could look up a movie. It's called You've Been Trumped Too, where he's doing business overseas, and a family gets their water cut off. He wants to work on a project. I think it was a golf course or something. And they cut off this family's water, and I think they were an older couple that lived there. They couldn't really just pick up and leave. They know their life is there, And for about few years, I think, They lived with the fact that they didn't have running water. So one day, whoever was living there went out there and fixed his own water line and got the water running again, only to get a note from Donald Trump stating that what he'd done wasn't right. And it's just a big giant clusterfuck. You might be able to watch it for free on Amazon. It's called You've Been Trumped Too. Let me take a look here. And I'll give you the background on that. You've Been Trumped Too. Let's see here. Let's go to Amazon. Yeah, they got it up on oh shit. Yeah, there's a trailer here. I don't know if it's the full movie, but you could watch it, the trailer on video. So let me get you that. And it says, you could buy it for like $5. You can watch it for free on Amazon. Let me look on Amazon here. See here. I'm looking up, links to Journeyman. It's released through Journeyman Pictures. And let's see. It says, the acclaimed film Donald Trump suppressed in order to become the president. You've Been Trumped to explores the deeply troubling confrontation between a feisty 92-year-old Scottish widow and her family and the brash billionaire. He attempts to become the most powerful man in the world. Widely released now for the first time, this explosive film is more relevant than ever. An investigative journalist and filmmaker, Anthony Baxter, travels between the noisy and often surreal presidential race and the timeless Scottish countryside. So yeah, Trump tried to stop that film, believe it or not. You could go here on, and you could rent it on YouTube, or you could buy it on YouTube. I don't know. Here we go. You could look at the trailer for You've Been Trumped Too. And it just shows you what a delusional prick that he really is. He doesn't care about the human people. This guy tried to turn the screws on a feisty 92-year-old over there in Scotland. And after living so long without any real water, somebody went out there and fixed the water line and got the water back. And Trump had a fit and said that what that person did was against the law, which I think is bullshit because the person lived in that house long before he even showed up. Check out that film, I dare you. And then on the side where Giuliani is, he has facilitated the lie, and he'll continue to facilitate the lie. And Trump doesn't like it that now his people are being prosecuted, now that the orange marshmallow is no longer in office. I, for one, am glad. I probably aged about 20 years while that guy was in office. And it makes me happy that they're going after Giuliani, and it's making me more happy that Trump's lies are being found out in terms of COVID-19. Let me see. Let me look up Trump scams while I'm at it. Okay, let me do the Yahoo story, and you guys could read about the raid, and then we'll move on. See here, live, okay? Here we go. Here's the story about the raid on Giuliani's home and office. Me, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Believe me. How many of you remember when he was probed on nationwide television with that drunk bimbo beside him? And then people were catching light of the farts that he was letting off, and people were making jokes about that. Late night TV has made jokes about the current situation that Giuliani found himself in. And Donald Trump hates it that his partner in crime has been breached by the FBI. You want to talk about legal thuggery? Look at Donald Trump. Talks like he's reading a cue card. Making threats like, Russia, are you listening? That raised a big eyebrow to me. He says something about, something about Russia and are you listening? And it makes me sad. It makes me sad that that guy couldn't win on his own merit. And you want to know why? He doesn't have the backbone or the standing to back it up. Joe Biden does. I saw part of that address last night, and he talks like a normal person, a calm person. He doesn't scream. He doesn't call names. He doesn't spend all his time on Twitter. He talks straight and to the point, and he knows what's at stake for this country, and I support Joe Biden all the way. What happens with his son, that's another matter. Joe Biden is the front man here. And I'm hoping that both sides of the House and the Senate will come together and actually do some work. That's the nice thing about Joe Biden. He actually does work for a living. He's working for this country. He's trying to put right what Trump did wrong. And he knows about the problems at the border. It's just never been reported. And if you follow Fox News, then you're really screwed up. Let's see what else they're saying here on Yahoo. So let me go back here to Yahoo. And I'll pull up even more here. Let's see. Come on. Stop giving me grief today, damn it. I know I'm tired, but this is ridiculous. And then they're picking apart Joe Biden's speech last night, but I'm not going to further the Republican cause to pick them apart. Let's see here. Oh, let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. The crazy lunatic woman. Let's see. Marjorie Taylor Greene sinks to new level of dumb in Biden speech criticism. Before I read that, let me share that link with you now. So let me close some of these windows. And we'll get down to work. Okay, here's the story about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Should be some great laughs. Okay. We all know Marjorie Taylor Greene is a crazy lunatic bitch who doesn't see the full view of reality the way that you and I possibly. Let's see here. Marjorie Taylor Greene sinks to new level of dumb in Biden speech criticism. Written by Ron Dickler, general assignment reporter for the Huffington Post. And this was released the 29th of April, 2021 at 7:05 a.m. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, dropped to another level of dumb for blasting Joe Biden's push Wednesday to expand free education. One Twitter critic said in an address to Congress, the president outlined a vast American Families Plan, which, among things, would create free universal pre-K and 2 years of tuition-free community college. But the QAnon-supporting Green, who was stripped of her House committee assignments for spouting tinfoil hat theories, bashed the proposal as just another conspiracy. So the new plan that Joe Biden is wanting to put in place is just another conspiracy to her. And it says, quote, federally funded school from age 3 to 20 doesn't sound like education. It sounds like indoctrination, she tweeted. All at your expense by force in the form of taxes. And she says, let's see, Twitter, educated Green, reminding her that federally funded education covers the public education system already in place. Oddly, she seemed to generally understand the concept of free public schools in a tweet earlier in the day. Backing parents revolting against student mask mandates. Taxes pay for the school, she wrote. But she appeared to forget that during Biden's speech. One of them says, one of them goes by the name of Mom of Twins. You really should know that public schools are already funded by tax dollars, and adding 4 years to public education is brilliant. Again, Marjorie Taylor Greene is crying that Joe Biden wants to do more for the education system. And she says, and I quote, federally funded school from age 3 to 20 doesn't sound like education. It sounds like indoctrination. All at your expense by force in the form of taxes. What do you think public school is? It's funded by the taxpayers. It keeps our kids out of trouble. Another one says, democracy by disdain darkness says, so are you saying you think there shouldn't be public schools? When people are railing against her, let's go down here. These are all tweets I am reading, by the way. Another one says, I'm not even sure there is a term for this level of dumb. Another person tweets, public schooling in America, whoever heard of such a thing? Crazy. Mocking her. Let's see. It's so weird. I taught for 26 years. I could have sworn we received federal funds every year like clockwork. Another person says, oof, wait till you learn how education works. Another person says, an honest question for you. Let me see if I can find it. An honest question for you. What do you think of federally funded education from 5 to 18? And people are posting pictures saying, I'm guessing you weren't burdened with an overabundance of schooling. And people are having a field day with her. Let's read a couple more here. Another one says, Andrew D. says, I'm against school for kids. Let them all be homeschooled by families where both parents have to work already. It's not our best interest to have a well-educated populace. Children should be indoctrinated at home instead. And they make fun of her by JFC, as in Jesus fucking Christ. So he was just making a point. You talk like that, you're stupid. And he's saying Jesus Christ. You can go down through and look at the article. I have shared the link. And it's crazy. And Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to be in a damn psych ward. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the queen of conspiracy theories, a QAnon freak. She has spread a lot of misinformation. She is off the rails. She is not fit to be in any form of office. And public schools are run by the government, as is the post office, and any other office downtown is run by the government. So if you don't have your paddles in the water, woman, get out. You're not fit to be in office. Joe Biden is trying to fix the mess that Trump put us in. We've got our stimulus package. We have other things in the pipeline. He is aware of what's going on at the border. It's going to take a while to fix these problems. Trump certainly didn't do much. Let's look up Trump scams. Let's Google that. Let's Google that while I got a chance. Okay, let me see. Trump scams. Come on. Trump scams. Oh, man.
Here's a summary from AARP. Here are 9 such frauds happening widely right now. 1. Zoom phishing emails. 2. COVID-19 vaccination card scams. 3. Phony online shopping websites. 4. Celebrity imposter scams. 5. Online romance scams. 6. Medicare card scams. And more.
Shut up, bitch. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look up some scams here. Let's see, from 2021, Donald Trump has found his next money-making scam. And Vanity Fair says we finally know just how big a fraud Trump is. And I'm sure that you probably haven't seen this on David Pakman. Trump's election scam is still making money. And there was one point they talked about on David Pakman. Let's go with that. Trump's campaign scams small donors with auto pay. And it says from the Intelligencer. Trump's campaign bilked his fans out of millions because, of course, it did. Donald Trump may be a man with a very limited set of talents, but he has learned to apply these talents with masterful effect. His talent is to employ shameless lies to create an image of himself in the media, then use that media to bilk people. Typically, a grifter runs up the limits of public knowledge. Once he is exposed, it becomes progressively more difficult to find new masks. But here is where Trump's in particular genius exceeds all who came before him and allowed him to operate his scam on a world historical level. Trump has always attracted so much media that any particular expose of his crooked deeds is overwhelmed by the cacophony. Let's see if I can scroll down here. Jane Goldmaster reports at the New York Times that Trump's campaign bilked donors out of tens of millions of dollars. The scam was not complicated. When people gave them money online, the donations came with pre-checked boxes authorizing the campaign to take donations every week. And that means every single week, as outlined in this article. They needed to uncheck the box to stop the automatic transfers. At first, the auto check simply said, make this a recurring monthly donation. Then it added, make this a recurring weekly donation until 11/3 with a second box below that with even more text authorizing an additional extra one-time $100 donation in September 29th. Ultimately, the messages included two text-heavy boxes filled with bold-faced, all-caps slogans, with a much less conspicuous line at the bottom informing whoever had made it through the mini op-ed they were authorizing the campaign to drain their bank account. These images come from the Times story, so I'll share that with you here in a second. So they show, they say in one box, this is the final month until Election Day, and we need every patriot stepping up. We are going to win 4 more years for President Trump. He's revitalizing our economy, restoring law and order, and returning us to American greatness. And it goes on and on. You'll see the yellow boxes when I share that with you. So, yeah. Goldmacher found victims who face serious financial hardship as a result of the scam. Even some pro-political operatives sometimes fail to recognize the inconspicuous little box. The story cannot tabulate how much the campaign raised from unwitting victims. Many of them simply paid without realizing it. The only measure of the size of the grift comes via people who recognized their bank accounts were losing funds each week and demanded a refund. There was a lot of them. The Trump campaign refunded $121 million, or $101 million more than the Biden campaign did. Trump has been operating like this all along. His business hires contractors and then, by the hundreds, pays them half the promised fee or nothing, knowing that he could just find new contractors to unwittingly work for the famous Donald Trump. He bilks his fans into buying expensive vitamin scams, investing into a casino that he loots, or signing for expensive courses where the instructors take the students for all they're worth. Trump's political career was, or more pessimistically, an extension of his grifting career. He recognized the conservative media as the perfect vehicle to identify a new and vast collection of marks. He ran a populist and used the trust voters placed in him to govern as a plutocrat. All the promises of restoring the factories disappeared in the 90s, simply giving way to another tax cut for the rich. It's a testament to Trump's grifting genius that his victims continue to venerate him. Goldmacher's story contains this utterly perfect sentence describing one of the victims who was tricked into giving the campaign more than 10 times what he intended to donate. Like multiple other donors, interviewed, although he held Mr. Trump himself blameless, telling the Times, quote, "I'm 100% loyal to Trump." Dumbass. Almost every confidence artist had to flee from his victims as they realized the trick. Trump may be the greatest con man in history. His victims still adore him. Trump had written a response to the Times report. But I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to give that jackass the time of day. He does not challenge any of the factual claims in the story. Most of the response is devoted to recycling the false claims that he actually won the 2020 election. What small bits of Trump's responses are even related to the topic of the campaign fraud are more incompulsory than expulsory. Trump claims that many people were so enthusiastic that they gave over and over, and in certain cases where they gave too much, we would promptly refund their contributions. Of course, his fans would give over and over. The campaign wouldn't have needed to automatically enroll them in a weekly donation, and bury the opt-out box between an over-lengthening sequence of text. His next line insists that the overall dispute rate was less than 1% of donations. Of course, this is the point. People only disputed the charges if they noticed them. The scheme was designed to skim money out of their bank accounts without them even noticing. So it's a phishing scam to get your money. So yeah, David Pakman talked about this about a week ago. Check that out. I'll put this here. I saw something on the sidebar of this article that I want to share. And thank goodness for people who capture the images of what Trump's been doing. So, yeah, let's go back here if I could find it. I got so many windows open. Okay, let's go down here and see what I can find out. Okay. Let's see here. Preet Bharara thinks Giuliani is in big trouble. So let's look here. Again from the Intelligencer. Let's see here what we got here. Get that bar down. And I'll share this with you before I get started. This is the last article I'm going to be doing for the day. So I got some other things I want to do on here this evening. And we'll get to that at the end of this. Let's try this again. Preet Bharara thinks Rudy Giuliani is in deep trouble. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to say that. On Wednesday, federal agents raided Giuliani's apartment as part of an investigation into his dealings with the Ukraine, which included digging up dirt on Joe Biden and in that country. The investigation is being held by prosecutors in the Southern District of New York. I spoke with Preet Bharara, who served as the U.S. Attorney for the district from 2009 to 2017, and whose podcast, Stay Tuned. Write that down. The podcast, Stay Tuned, was recently acquired by Vox Media about Giuliani's predicament and where the investigation may go next. And the question asked here, how significant is this move by the feds from your perspective? How much legal danger does Giuliani face? They ask. He answers, I think it's extremely significant. I'm not one to say when routine subpoenas are issued or interviews are conducted, but here you have a very prominent person, not just the former lawyer to the president of the USA, but the former U.S. attorney of the office that's involved in the investigation. The fact that you execute a warrant on someone's residence does not necessarily mean that there'll be a charge. But given the circumstances, given the identity of Mr. Giuliani, given that you have to show to get a judge to authorize the warrant for the search, that's a sign that he's in deep trouble. We saw this play out with respect to Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort. Very prominent targets, very sensitive cases. Both of these men were charged. And they ask, the two people you just cited both went to prison. Is that where this could be going? And the person answers, I used to head that office, and there are search warrants that get executed on people's premises and their offices, and no charges follow. This happens, and Giuliani is presumed to be innocent, but that's likely that there has already been substantial investigation. The reporting was that they tried to execute these searches when Trump was in office, and they were stymied by higher ups in the Justice Department. Bear in mind that they're probably far along, given what's showing that they have probable cause to do these searches in the first place. They likely have a lot of Rudy Giuliani's communications. You don't need to have his devices in your possession to have email records. These are obtained from third parties, and they probably have all of it. It's anyone's guess that the charges will be what the charges will be and that they will come. But my experience, when you do something like this, that you know that they'll have a reputational effect on the subject. You're usually thinking there's a good likelihood of a charge. And they ask, the fact that they were trying to execute these searches under the Trump administration and were blocked from doing so seems unusual. What do you think of that? And the person responds again, I don't know all the details, he says. I don't know the timetable. There is an argument that was legitimate not to permit the seeking of the warrants to go forward, given the proximity to the election and the importance of Giuliani to the election. So I'm not second guessing that decision without more information. But the other odd thing is, had the Justice Department allowed the searches to be done when Trump was in office, it says here, and had the Southern District of New York able to collect that evidence, and had they been able to either bring a charge or appear they were about to before Trump left the office, Rudy Giuliani would have been a prime pardon recipient. So the proving thing, depending on your perspective, is that possible delay of justice cost Rudy Giuliani a Trump pardon. So, yeah, from what I think, that's the end of the article. What I think is he could possibly go to jail if they find any evidence of him doing things with the Ukraine to help Trump spin the election his way. And you know what? Both Trump and Giuliani need to accept the fact that we voted out the monstrosity and we're tired of it. I know I've been long tired of it. Trump just needs to shut up. I hope he ends up going to jail soon, but we don't know, do we? And that's the fact, We had a clown prince in office for 4 years who knew nothing about politics. He didn't care a thing about this country. Sure, we have problems at the border. Biden is aware of that. He's going to be working on it. And he's got a lot of other things he needs to tie the loose ends up. Trump made a mess and a mockery of the White House. And I watched some of his little spiel last night. And it was refreshing to hear a man talk calmly and openly about certain things that need to be done for this country. And I couldn't be more proud of Mr. Biden. He's only doing what he can. It's a 365-day-a-year job. If Trump had not played down the pandemic like he did, many people wouldn't be dead. Biden will probably get all the credit for the vaccine rollout. But, we have to give credit where credit's due. It's the scientists that are working hard to get us vaccinated, to get us back to normal. I know I want that more than anything. I missed my birthday with my brother last year, and it was very surreal. He could have died from COVID. He had COVID earlier in the year, that year. And you want to talk about being scared for somebody? I'm scared for my twin brother. I talked to a newswoman that used to be on my local news here in Columbus who is fighting cancer. And she's fighting her way back from a mass in her chest. And we were talking. And I said, I hope you win this cancer battle. I said, because my brother had kidney cancer, about 3 years ago. And that was scary too. So, yeah, you think my brother had a lot of arrows thrown at him? Yeah, he has. Yes, he has. He had cancer, and then a few short years later, he got COVID. And I'm just glad he didn't die, because not very many people were so lucky. We had men, women, and children die from this disease. You can't deny it. And then I heard that one company that Trump donated to was supposed to get out syringes, but it never happened. There's a lot of things that Trump has done that are very seedy, and I don't like it. And yet, I think we should go after Trump and his cronies. Michael Cohen got his justice, and Manafort got sent to jail. Both of those guys got sent to prison. I'm glad. You mess with our democracy, then you pay. You pay. And like Biden said, we need to come together and start working together and start healing the divide, because if you don't, it's just going to continue. And notice, since Trump left, we only had one other attack after the insurrection. We haven't had any others. So I think people are finally starting to see who Trump really is. And then there are a few that still think that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani are the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you know what? I think they're garbage. They're total garbage. Giuliani went from hero in 2001 to a real chump in 2021. And a lot of people remember his little spiel on TV when he was on the hot seat. And he had that drunk bimbo beside him. And people were picking up on the fact that the woman was drunk and that Rudy Giuliani had a bad case of gas. And people online were making jokes. Including one such jerk-face, Hal Sparks, who ripped me off for a script that I never got. But he made a joke about the farts that Rudy Giuliani had put out that day when he was on the hot seat. Now, people like Trump and Giuliani, they're not based in our reality. They only believe what they want to believe. They want to bend the facts. They want to bend their facts to make us try to believe their version of facts. And you know what? I never will. And Trump, if you're scared, you should be. I hope the FBI comes after you too, because you, sir, ain't no saint. You're a con, you'll always will be, and you're going to have to deal with it. You can never get what you want. I believe you're broke as a motherfucker, and I will continue to believe that until the day you die. And if you think I'm going to talk about Trump on his funeral, no. Well, I'll talk about him on the day he dies, but I won't be sharing his funeral. He doesn't deserve that. Only a guy that knows the office of the United States, that cares about this country, and doesn't kiss ass with our enemies. Those are the people that'll get my respect every time. So, there you have it. Giuliani is facing a load of trouble today. The FBI raided his house. Hopefully they'll pin him up against the barn door and make him pay for the crimes that he's committed. He's spread a lot of lies, and he needs to be held accountable for that too. And you know what? I'm glad we have Biden now. We have a guy that talks sense. He's a soft-spoken guy. And he's trying to do the job that Trump barely even did. He spent more days on the golf course and on Twitter than in an actual office. Oh, and by the way, I just heard on the Super Slam yesterday that YouTube may be lifting the ban on Donald Trump to come on this platform. I don't want him to come back to this platform. All the misinformation has slowed to a crawl since they banned his ass from certain platforms. And that's a good thing. But I hear that places like YouTube may start lifting his bans. I don't want that to happen, but we'll see what happens. Just thought I'd get that out there to you. But I'm hoping, if I'm not too tired, I'll get back on here later today, or I'll get on tomorrow with a cleaner head of hair. Because I've been really busy trying to clean my house. So I just did up my kitchen yesterday and kind of taking a slow day today because I was pretty sore last night. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see what the Trump Freak Show brings out next. And Giuliani is on the hot seat. He'll be the next person to go down in flames. Can't say I'm not surprised. But I hope you guys have a good afternoon. I'll get back on either tonight or in the morning to talk about my 50th birthday. Yep, I turned 50 this Saturday, and we'll be talking about it. In fact, I've got a playlist that is permanently, that is now private to start, because I'm putting together some music videos that I find all over YouTube that we could share on my birthday, and you guys can watch that. And I want, the list of songs that I have in that playlist will be a selection of some of the music that I've heard over the last 50 years. And I'm picking the best of the best. So hopefully you guys will like what I have. I'm going to be doing this on my other channel, so I'll be pretty busy here over the next day or so. So, yeah. But maybe tonight I'll get on here and talk a little bit about my birthday, but I don't know. It just depends on whether I'm awake or if I decide to go to bed. So, yeah. Just things have been crazy around here with the weather being so yucky and me trying to catch up on sleep and take care of my pain. It's a 24-hour, 365-day job. But check out those articles in the sidebar and let me know what you think in the commentary below. I thank you for watching. Share this video for those that want to hear about Giuliani going down in flames. I welcome it. And without you, this channel would not exist. I've been doing this for well over a year. I've been more on my home channel than here, but I'm hoping by this summer we can do some projects and get some ideas that don't offend the copyright police. So, yeah. But try and have a good day, everybody, and I'll try and get back on tonight or in the morning. So, yeah. If you think I'm tired, yeah, I am. Just got a lot going on and trying to get things prepped for my birthday. Because with my brother John being out of town for the next day or so, it's going to be by the wire if he gets back in time, whether we go out for my birthday on Saturday. So, yeah. But take care of yourselves, follow social distancing protocols, and even if they lift those protocols, be as safe as you can. Keep as clean as you can. I'm still trying to get set up for shots, but I don't want to go far away from home to get them. I'll keep you posted on that. I'll see if I can get mine at my doctor's office when I go back in May. So, yeah. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys here later on or sometime tomorrow. Good night.